This is a news flash from the Anna Maria Bazan law firm. Welcome. My name is Anna Maria Bazan. I'm an immigration attorney who specializes primarily in detention and removal, all kinds of green card processes. Today, I've decided to do a live stream because we're under attack by the US government. This beautiful immigrant nation is being bombarded by US government policies daily, every other day, every week there's something new. It's very important that you get informed by the correct people, by honest and reliable attorneys who are licensed to practice immigration law, and do your paperwork with them in a correct way. Now, as I said, the US government is bombarding, attacking immigrants in all kinds of ways. We're not just talking about Mexicans and Muslims. We're talking about any and all kinds of immigrants, including the rich, including the poor, including even naturalized citizens. We're talking about all kinds of immigrants that can be placed in removal proceedings and can be deported. Now, all the horror stories that we hear in the news about families being separated, about kids, 4 to 5-year-old kids representing themselves in court, in immigration court proceedings, are terrible. They're devastating. They're really depressing. But this is only the beginning. There is more to come. Pay attention to the following, please. USCIS has now released new policy memos. The government, in essence, is punishing people that are trying to do the right thing, that have their cases being processed by USCIS, that have submitted lawfully applications through marriage, through relatives, through employers, you name it. They're punishing those. And this is how. USCIS has released 2 memos, one dated June 28, 2018, which was released on July 5th, and another dated July 13th, 2018. These memos authorize USCIS, give them the power to refer cases to immigration court proceedings that will be denied by them. So that if you submit a case and it's denied, they have the authority, they are mandated to issue a notice to appear to the person so that they put them in removal proceedings directly. It used to be that they refer the cases to ICE and then ICE would put the person in proceedings if they thought they had to. But now they can directly refer the cases to immigration court. Now, another policy, the one that was issued on 7/13/18, indicates that they have the discretion, USCIS, not to issue requests for additional evidence or notices of intent to deny anymore like they used to. They can, but they have a broader discretion to deny if you don't submit the correct documents or if you don't give them enough evidence in your case. So if you're submitting a waiver, an I-601A waiver, and you don't satisfy them with the extreme hardship, proof of extreme hardship to the U.S. citizen spouse, for instance, then you can get denied. And as I said before, if you're denied, they will issue a notice to appear to you and put you in removal proceedings in court. What does this mean? That you can be deported. You have to fight your case in court, spend a lot of money, a lot of time. It's going to take years. And why is this so devastating? Because there's already a crisis. We already have over 700,000 people backlogged in immigration court since May of 2018. This is going to increase the number of people that are in proceedings, and it's just going to be chaotic. Now, what else is there besides this policy? Well, all of you who are citizens, who are naturalized citizens, who first got a green card and then naturalized and became citizens, are also at risk. Why? Because the government is taking all the cases that were naturalized into investigation. They're going to look into whether they allegedly committed fraud or misrepresented a material fact. Allegedly, I say, because it's not necessarily true that you committed fraud to get your green card. Is that immigration and the government are alleging, and they can look into it and they can denaturalize the person. It's not easy to do this, and it hasn't been done a lot, in fact, at all. Hardly ever. But now the government is looking into doing this. So there, again, we're not punishing just Mexicans and Muslims and Latinos and people that are crossing the border. We're punishing everybody who are trying to abide by the law and the rules and naturalize and regulate and submit their application with USCIS. Now, if you remember, under the Obama administration, us immigration attorneys were able to close your case under prosecutorial discretion. We were able to ask the government, please give my client, the good people, the people who pay taxes, who have been here working for over 20 years, who are contributing to this beautiful nation and society, and, you know, working 2-3 jobs. Give them the discretion. Don't deport them. Right? We used to ask the government not to deport them, to administratively close the case when they're in removal proceedings, so that they wouldn't have to be deported and they're here temporarily with just an administrative closure. Now, the government, the courts, the government is recalendaring those cases back in immigration court. So those people that had their cases administratively closed can be placed in removal proceedings. Again, I mean, they're already in removal, but the case is temporarily closed, so they can be reopened. And the person can defend themselves in court again. If they have relief, great, they will stay here. If they don't, they will be deported. Also, if you visualize the map of the United States, and I think we might be able to have it on the screen soon. If you visualize the map and the border of the entire United States, and you visualize 100 miles from the border, wherever that may be, the entire border. We're not just talking about Texas and California. We're talking about New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and so forth. The Department of Homeland Security has the authority to question people if they have reasonable suspicion that they have violated an immigration rule, an immigration law, or have committed a crime, have violated some federal law, to stop you and ask you, what is your immigration status? Now, you do have constitutional rights, and we will have more videos about what to do if this happens. But I just want to give you the news flash so that you know what I'm talking about. Now that the map is up, you can see in the map and look at the red around the map and look and see 100 miles from the border. There's going to be 200 million people that could possibly be affected that live on the border around, 100 miles in. So that again includes New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, all those states that are on the border. And so what happens is that CBP they're gonna say they have reasonable suspicion, and in practice they don't necessarily, it shouldn't be a hunch. It should be reasonable suspicion, but in practice they're violating this, and they're going to be asking everyone who they feel like what their immigration status is. Now, it's important to know that you have a constitutional right to remain silent. People don't walk around with proof of U.S. citizenship and so forth. So obviously, if you are a U.S. citizen, you will say you are. If you aren't, you can stay quiet. You can call your attorney. You can ask to leave. You can ask the officer, what reasonable suspicion do you have to ask me, right? It's not racial profiling. It's not supposed to be racial profiling. In practice, it is, but they can't just stop you because of your ethnicity or your race. It has to be reasonable suspicion. Now, even more devastating than all of this, in terms of asylum, as you know, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions overturned matter of AB, a case whereby asylum cases based on domestic violence and gang-related not wanting to join the gangs in their countries are gonna be denied asylum. In other words, that's the way Jeff Sessions has it at this moment. It doesn't mean it is not going to be appealed and it's not going to be fought by us attorneys in court and so forth. But besides what he did to reverse the grant of asylum for domestic violence victims and gang-related asylum cases, they're giving the authority to the Department of Homeland Security at the border to actually deny domestic violence cases and gang-related cases at the outset. So this is in violation of due process because the Congress gave the right to these immigrants to get a credible fear interview. So they're supposed to get a credible fear interview if they're seeking asylum and then be referred to immigration judge so they can have their day in court, they can be heard. Nevertheless, what the Immigration Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security and the government are doing in the with the pretext of making this nation secure is in fact they're going to be doing what an immigration judge is supposed to do. Imagine officers that don't even have the education or don't even have the knowledge of what they're doing. They're going to be denying cases at the border. Another thing is that they can say that because you enter unlawfully, you can be denied asylum as well. They're giving that authority at the moment. What this is all doing is creating chaos, creating panic, creating an atmosphere, an environment whereby the anti-immigrant sentiment is stronger than ever. Not that we haven't gone through it in the history of the United States, but it's strong. There's racism everywhere. There's anti-immigrant sentiments. So not only is it affecting and will it affect thousands and millions of people, but it's also upsetting a lot of people. And this nation has been a safe haven for so many. We're sending these kids and these victims of domestic violence back home to maybe be killed. We're not giving them the opportunity that they should have. This is devastating. I hope that you, including U.S. citizens, residents, and everybody in this country, do something to stop this. Speak up if you see it. Speak up if you see a kid being questioned. Speak up and defend them. Join your advocacy groups in your local areas, whatever state you're from, and become active. Become active in politics, become active in nonprofit organizations. And if you're a client or a relative of someone that needs legal assistance, consult with an immigration attorney as soon as possible, immediately, because you need to know what your rights are. You need to know how to defend yourself. You need to know what your defense is going to be in court. I will have more live streams as USCIS policies change. Please watch our videos on Facebook, on YouTube. Follow us at the Anna Maria Bazan Law Firm. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you need assistance, please call us at the Anna Maria Bazan Law Firm at the number on the screen. And I will repeat it for you just in case. It's 718-478-8583. Best of luck.